Welcome back, everybody. Bonnie Karowski here, Project Change Consultants. Today, we're going to be talking about learning and development departments and what is changing during AI. In a previous episode, we talked directly to L&D managers. Today, we're talking to change managers and we're talking to instructional designers and learning developers. The reason why I say change managers is because, surprise, they're joining our team. I'm super excited. Now, since a change manager does a lot of the same things we do, we get a chance to push some of our stuff onto them. Sorry, change managers. But now, once we have a scope document and all this is passed down from our project leads, we're going to be able to move more efficiently in developing our training and focus more on our skill set. Instructional designers are not always classroom trainers. Documentation specialists are not e-learning specialists. And so we have a right to separate and reward our roles. A change manager working as a Scrum Master not only can handle the communications and deployment of what we have and handle our review processes for us, but they are more equipped to better understand our audience and to make sure that our audience is ready for whatever it is that we're developing. That frees us up in getting ready to develop the best stuff possible. Under a change management / Scrum Master role, there will be multiple areas. We will have documentation specialists, we will have e-learning experts, and we will also have classroom training still. We know blended approaches are the best way to go about things, but there's no reason why all of our teams can't work together under the same umbrella and work towards common goals under a scope document. Sometimes when we develop e-learning, there are additional components that we need, such as job aids. There's a SharePoint site sometimes that we need to upload our contents to. And then last but not least, we have our LMSs. And nowadays the LMSs are changing. Sometimes we have more adaptable LMSs and different systems that are coming to because of AI. And we're also realizing that sometimes posting a course in an LMS isn't feasible because maybe the audience levels are too small, or maybe it's just a communication piece. So now, under the umbrella of a change manager / Scrum Master or Agile Manager, however you want to call a Scrum Master or Agile Manager, we are going to have an umbrella that includes documentation, e-learning, classroom learning, LMS, AI developers, which are going to be specifically for VR and AR, to increase our storyboard levels up to level 4s. We're also going to have people that sit there and do maintenance. Can you believe it? Maintenance. I'm so super excited that this HEADS framework came about and that things are going to be changing in our departments. Smaller departments aren't going to see as many changes. However, those jobs and roles still need to be specified. Over my 20 years working in learning and development departments, I have noticed a lot of instructional designers having to do the role of change managers, communication experts, documentation specialists, BAs, and other things, sometimes even project assistants by taking notes and stuff. Most of that is going to be divided moving forward with AI. Our department is going to be growing. Even in small companies, they will no longer be able to expect, say, someone that does classroom training that maybe was a professor in their previous life or a high school teacher to know how to develop VR or AR. These are specialized skills for specialized instructional designers. It's the same as saying an instructional designer should know how to properly build and market an LMS system, because now those systems are changing and it's not just about posting courses anymore. It's about personalized learning, and AI is all about personalized learning. It's also about real-time feedback. And so being able to have the right type of people in the right role is going to be crucial in moving forward to AI. Not only are we changing the processes and the roles of what each person does underneath, but knowing and adapting to their skill sets. So as we start digging down deeper into the HEADS framework and we start talking about these roles and these processes, I need everybody to be aware that the L&D departments are now going to be a little bit larger and requiring a little bit more skills. So change managers are going to be moved over into our departments to help lead as Scrum Masters. They're going to be the front end to help navigate with our SMEs. what it is we need, how we need it, and to block things from interfering in us, and to be the ones to be consistently driving it forward for expedited and rapid prototyping. We're going to need that extra hand that likes to communicate and that wants to reach out to block us from the things that we do. Because when you program in L&D and you're building courses for e-learning and you're building in AR and VR, every interruption takes time to think about where you were at and where you were going with that creative mode. And every interruption can cause a problem. And so we need to address that. And going into an AI in the HEADS framework is going to start addressing that. So in our next episode, we're going to deep dive into the HEADS framework. But just so everybody knows, once the program manager, which is currently now an L&D manager, actually passes along the scope document to the change manager, that change manager is in charge of the change, the communications, identifying the right resources on their teams that specialize in those things, and pushing these out for implementation. We have that broken down on our website so you can see what their roles are. We're going to focus a little bit more on the roles of L&D. In L&D, like I said, classroom training, it's not going anywhere. It can continue to be developed, however it needs to be developed, to be pushed out either VILT, which is virtual instructor-led training, or instructor-led training in a classroom. It's still in high demand, especially for, say, call centers and onboarding. We will never get rid of classroom training. However, classroom trainers have a specific skill set, and hiring managers need to be aware of this. They need to be social. They need to know how to present themselves to a class. They need to know how to take that content and turn it alive. They need to know about classroom activities and break schedules. None of that are the same skill sets that we're going to talk about when we talk about instructional designers and instructional technologists. Those people are programmers. They are IT programmers. Nobody ever sees their face. Nobody even hears their voice anymore because now we have AI software that makes everything natural text to speech. So they are truly the behind the scenes creative force behind learning. They're the ones that develop the classroom materials for the classroom trainers. They are not there to register people for courses in an LMS or test why an LMS is glitching. That's a whole nother special skill set. BAs are there to test the software. They're there to document and do documentation for the software. However, that's still writing. And those manuals that you require, those job aids, could still be done internally for the same projects, but by different people. Finding someone that has a skill set for all that and holding them accountable for every single one of those skill sets has been ridiculous in our field. While many of us have all those skill sets, there's not enough of us to go around. And when we don't succeed 100% in, say, one of those skill sets, we're on a chopping block, especially as consultants. We're supposed to know it all. I'm not sure how in the last 20 years I've been in the business, it's gotten to that point where we expect programmers to also be LMS administrators, to be documentation specialists, and to be able to stand in front of a classroom. It sounds silly to even say it now, doesn't it? But that's where we've been. And it's time for that to change. So AI is bringing us these changes. And this is going to be the best part of the HEADS framework. So as we get into the skill sets of HEADS, just remember that those skill sets do apply to all of those roles, whether it be documentation specialists and BAs, whether it be classroom instructors, or whether it be the actual instructional designers or instructional technologists. Those skill sets can then be applied across the board, and those processes can be followed regardless what their role is. It makes it easy for their scrum masters and their program managers to keep track of what they're doing, and it fits in their nice little 2-week sprints. However, we do need to point out that in any larger organization, they need to divide the roles. In smaller organizations, please don't hold one associate responsible for knowing all those roles, especially in this day and age with AI about to come. Be prepared to have to bring in consultants to help in some of those things that you can't change. And as always, if you actually need a consultant to help you revamp your L&D department and change the processes and the roles, we are here to help. We are currently the only ones that deal in L&D process changes and have a solution and a system in place, but it's not easy. But I will tell you, after 3 months and putting everybody in the right roles and teaching them how to reskill at their jobs, we do see such a huge success rate, not just in the type of quality of work that's going out, thanks to AI, but the level of work, the level of storyboards, the level of real-time feedback, the SME feedback has just been amazing. And the budgets are so much less. No longer are instructional designers working up to 80, 90 hours a week to hit their deadlines when something's getting ready to go out. We have a plan, and we're getting ready to put it in place. So let's go ahead and talk on the next one about the HEADS program, and let's get a little bit more into what that means. Thank you for joining today. Have a good day.